Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome. Happy New Year. Right, John? It's like opening day of baseball. That's what John said. Well, welcome to the first Student of the Month program for the 2019-20 school year. So at this time, I would like to invite up Cameron Stevens from Student Venture to lead us in prayer.
Good morning. If you would all stand with me, it'd be wonderful. Good morning, good morning. We doing good? Wow. That proved nothing. Are we doing good? All right, good. Glad to see. Everybody's still chewing on their bacon. I get it. Okay. Well, let's pray. Father, we thank you so much for this morning. We praise you, Lord God, for the beautiful weather this morning that we get to enjoy. But Lord, as we gather here together now, we thank you for this opportunity, this program, Lord, that honors these students, their commitment to their academics, their athletics, their activities, their extracurricular, their family, their friends, and all that they do and have completed thus far in the beginning of this school year. Lord, we thank you for their life, and we thank you for their purpose and their leadership on campus and off. And we just pray a covering over them and their families. We thank you for the parents represented in this room, the teachers, the staff, the administration, the business leaders in this community, Lord, of Murrieta that are surrounding these kids, encouraging and supporting them. And we just pray, Lord God, that you would continue to lift them up and give them the strength that they need as they continue on in this year. We love you, Lord, and we thank you. And we just pray a special prayer right now for protection for our schools as we move forward in this school year, Lord God, that you would just protect all the events and programs and things going on. We love you and we thank you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Cameron. And at this time, I'd like to invite up Mayor Kelly Ciarto to lead us in the pledge and share a few words of congratulations.
I almost forgot. I turned around and started eating again. If you'll all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, why am I giving my... You guys can sit down. Yeah. I'm giving my comments early tonight because I'm supposed to be in two places at once. So since this is one of my favorite places to be during every month at the Student of the Month, I just want to come up and congratulate all of our students for their achievement this month. It's the beginning of the school year. I've done this 3 times with my kids. It goes by awfully quick. So don't forget to enjoy it along the way. These achievements will continue to enrich your lives as you go through your senior years. But you know that the city of Murrieta is behind you, and we would like to congratulate all of you for being named Student of the Month this month. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Mary Walters. I am Assistant Superintendent of Ed Services in Murrieta Valley Unified, and I am your MC. I'm so happy to do that. And this morning, Sally Myers, our founder, could not be here, so I am going to share the history and mission. So the Student of the Month program was founded 28 years ago in Temecula by Sally Myers, owner of Sizzler Restaurants. It expanded to Murrieta in 1995 and then to Lake Elsinore and Paris Menifee. These 4 programs celebrate and honor outstanding students who make a significant difference in their schools and community. The mission statement of the Student of the Month program is to provide local high school recognition program which will acknowledge and honor college-bound seniors for their character, their love of learning, commitment to academics, in addition to their participation in athletics, school activities, community service, or the ability to persevere and overcome difficult life circumstances in a setting that honors God, country, family, community, and free enterprise. At this time, I'd like to recognize our Student of the Month volunteers. So in the back, we have Lou Ellen Fickey. She's our Chair and Scholarship Application Administrator. Thank you, Lou Ellen. We also have Jen Pham, who couldn't be here this morning. She's co-chair. Jerry Selway, is she here in the back? She's normally here. She's our scholarship fulfillment. We have Monica Gutierrez, our publicity. She's with Murrieta Valley Unified School District. Thank you, Monica. We have Kim Garcia, accountant. Andrea Conchella, volunteer. Dan Stake, where are you, Dan? Come on up. Dan Stake, he's one of our greeters from Alta Pacific. Andy Morris, who's a greeter from Farmers Insurance. We have Rhonda Levine, my secretary, who's our communications. We have Derek Gonzalez. Come on, Derek. He is our gift coordinator. We have Lori Lutweiler, gift and kind assistance. Holly Meserve, gift in kind. Jennifer Rasmussen, volunteer. Murrieta Valley Unified School District, Prince Our program. Where is Catherine Pepe? Where is she? She's right there in the back. She's a volunteer and works for Loma Linda and is also with Temecula Olive Oil Company, and then myself as the MC. So let's thank all of our volunteers. And at this time, we'd like to introduce our students and principals. So from Murrieta Valley High School, we have Principal Mark Pettengill and student Samantha Miles. Please stand. From Vista Murrieta High School, we have Principal Mick Wager and student Brianna Alvarez. From Springs Charter School, we have Principal April Jacoby and student Allison Thomas. And from Murrieta Mesa High School, we have Principal Steve Ellis and student Davin Coe. Congratulations to all of our students. At this time, I would like to introduce Patrick Ellis from the Murrieta Chamber of Commerce to share a few words.
Good morning, thank you. As Mary said, I'm Patrick Ellis. I'm the President and CEO of the Murrieta Wildomar Chamber of Commerce. It's my pleasure to be back. I missed most of this last year, and which sucked because I love this program and I love being here every month. So I always kind of try to come up with something to challenge or to say to you, the students who are being recognized and honored today. So I figured that I would start it and do it this way is, which of you know something that happened last night that put our valley on national news? I was looking for students. Those of us have nothing to do but watch TV, no. So last night, if you didn't know, one of our own from the Valley, Coda Lee, won America's Got Talent. If you are on social media, I am not the spoiler alert, just saying. But that's a very cool thing, and if you don't know who Cody is, he's a product of our valley. He is a blind autistic savant. He is an incredible voice, an incredible talent to play piano. He has played numerous events around our valley, and he's an unbelievable person and has an unbelievable family that works with him every single day. The reason I bring it up is I challenge you as students because you guys are role models within your communities, within your circles, right? You're stars in your circle, whether it's at your high school, whether it's in your neighborhoods, whether it's in your churches, wherever it might be. And so I challenge you because, you know, you think Cody's not that old, he's in his early 20s, and he went through some of our school districts here. And if you think, what are some of the challenges that a student like him may have had going through that? You know, now he's a star, now he's a millionaire technically. But some of the challenges, and we know what it's like in middle school and high school and how rough it can be. So I challenge you guys to continue what you're doing, be the stars that you are, be the role models you are, and think about what kind of an impact you can have on others around you, your friends, your peers, when it comes to individuals like that have challenges every single day. So congratulations. I'm extremely honored to be here in your presence because you guys are really the showcase today. But continue to do great things, continue to be those role models, and congratulations for everything you've done, and continue to have a great year this year. So thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. I'd also like to acknowledge a few special guests. We have Murrieta Valley Unified School District board members Linda Lunn and Ken Dixon here. So thank you for being here this morning. We'd also like to thank Group 1 Production in the back for videotaping today's event. It will be available to view on the Murrieta Valley Unified School District website or through the link that's in your program. We thank Rachel. She's our new cameraman who is with us this morning, so thank you, Rachel. And we'd also like to thank the City of Murrieta for providing airtime on Spectrum Cable Channel for this morning's event. At this point, I'd like to introduce all of our sponsors. And many of our sponsors are not only breakfast sponsors, some of them are scholarship sponsors and gift sponsors. So sponsors, when I call your name, if you could please stand and remain standing, and then we'll just recognize them all at once. So from A1 Tuscany Travel, we have Margaret Jones. From Alta Pacific Bank, or from Abbott, we have Ray Evans. From Alta Pacific Bank, we have Dan Stake and Lori Lutweiler. From Altura Credit Union, Derek Gonzalez and Josh Smith. From Azusa Pacific University, Nechelli Rodriguez. From Cal State University, San Marcos, Elizabeth Erickson. From the City of Murrieta, Mayor Kelly Ciarto. Mr. and Mrs. Kenneth Dixon. From Davies Financial Advisors, Andrew Davies. From DCH Auto Group, Al Rubio. From Eastern Municipal Water District, Amanda Fine. From Elsinore Valley Municipal Water District, we have Andy Morris and Robert Hartwig. From Farmers Insurance, Andy Morris. I say Andy's name a lot. So Mr. and Mrs. Patrick Kelly. From Loma Linda University Medical Center and Temecula Olive Oil Company, Catherine Pepe. From Mount San Jacinto College, Morris Myers and Cynthia Garcia. From Richie's Real American Diner, Linda Williams. From Western Municipal Water District, Al Lopez. And from Which Superior Sandwiches, Sandy Word. If we could give them a big round of applause. Thank you so much for sponsoring this program. It makes this program possible, and it gives extra support to our students to provide scholarships once they go to college if they are Student of the Year. So leading into that, as Student of the Month, you will be invited, students, to complete a scholarship application in the spring for the Student of the Year. You will compete against only other Students of the Month from your school. And the Student of the Year breakfast will be held in May, and there's an entire list of the Murrieta Student of the Month sponsors and Student of the Year sponsors in the program. So take a look at your program. At this time, we are going to move to the most important part of our program, our student presentations. You will hear examples of character, college choice, and future plans. The students will share their heartfelt stories with you today, and you will quickly understand why they were chosen as our first Student of the Month. Remember, principals, there's a time limit of 5 minutes per school. Principal has a minute, student has 2 minutes, the teacher has a minute, and the family has a minute. That keeps our program moving. So students, when you come forward, please bring your family and guests. They will stand on this side of you. Guests, save a dry corner of your napkin for the heartfelt stories. Students, try to relax and speak clearly into the microphone, and please stand as close together as possible so Rachel can get you into the picture. So at this time, we are going to invite up Principal Mick Wager with his student Brianna Alvarez.
Good morning, everybody. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. That's funny. Oh, no, my printer. I'm fine. I'll work it out. Yeah, come on over here. Sorry, and listen to the rules. Mr. Sergeant. No, you stay with your daughter.
Okay.
Yes, you come on over here. Now we stand close like we know each other.
It's always hard being
Hey, we're the first one. Come on. Yeah. You know what I was thinking is Patrick Ellis stayed away for a year and he grew that beard. I was just away for a summer, so this is all I have this. So I mean, if I wait longer, I kind of doubt it though. All right, so welcome everybody. Brianna Alvarez here is our first pick for Senior Student of the Month, and she was a very easy choice for us. She exceeds in each of Vista Murrieta's 5 tenets of class. It's character, leadership, attitude, scholarship, and service. and she has shown incredible dedication in her role as scholar and student leader. Brianna serves as our cadet commander for our Air Force JROTC program, which means she leads a student group that has grown to 400 student cadets. This leadership position calls on Brianna to commit considerable time and energy. At the same time, Brianna also plays clarinet in the Golden Alliance, our school's marching band. If you know anything about marching band, particularly Vista Murrieta's, and if you ever drive by, they're always on the field. Participating in band is pretty all-consuming, and to combine that with the cadet being the cadet commander, she didn't have a summer, so congratulations. No, anyway, it's an incredible task that she's taken on, doing both of those things. She said, "Well, I'm just playing clarinet." Like, okay, you're just playing clarinet. All right. Of course, Brianna is an outstanding scholar with over 4.0 GPA. She's taken 9 AP and dual enrollment courses. She's top 5% of her class, and she's also logged about 200 hours of community service. So she continues to donate her time at the local library. She's on the Teen Advisory Council, helping the library plan events for kids because, quote, she just likes to help. When I asked Brianna if all this work in school comes easy to her, she laughed at me and said, "It does not, no." She becomes overwhelmed, like any of us would, but her positive attitude and confidence that she will push through and take it one step at a time pulls her through, and it's a large part of her success. So I want to congratulate Brianna, who is OKB, our kind of Bronco, and a quiet leader on campus who does what she does for the right reasons. And I have no doubt she will be successful in whatever she does and a blessing to whoever and whatever is around her. So thank you, Brianna, for your service, and congratulations.
Okay, so good morning. I'm Brianna Alvarez, and with me today is my mom and my teacher, Xenia Burgos. He was one of the ones that recommended me for this award. One of the most significant life lessons that I'll take with me to college is to not stress over everything so much. I tend to take on a lot more than I should at times, and the stress of it all sometimes takes a toll on me. Taking a step back and realizing that whatever is stressing me out in the moment will eventually pass, time makes me realize that I'm able to tackle those challenges head on. There's always going to be things that we must confront in our lives, some good and some bad, but what makes the difference is how we deal with them. We cannot worry about those things that are out of our control, so we have to make wise choices on what to really spend our energy on. I feel that recognizing our life stressors and knowing that they will not last forever will definitely help in the long run as I begin my college career. After I graduate from Vista, I plan on going to a two-year college to save money on the general classes I need to take, and then I'm going to transfer into a four-year college to pursue a career in mechanical engineering. So thank you for this opportunity. I'm glad to be here today. I'm really grateful. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jeff Burgos. My cadets or my students, they call me senior. I'm a JROTC instructor at Vista Murrieta. And I had Brianna my freshman year, her freshman year as well at Vista Murrieta. And she was my challenging student. And when I say challenging student, she would be the one that would challenge me as a teacher. So today I just want to take this quick moment to thank you, Brianna, for making me a better teacher. And I explained some of those things to Mom a little bit earlier and how she made me a better teacher. But my preparation to make sure that the striving students understand and go above and beyond what we're talking about in the class made me a better teacher and what I am today. So thank you, Brianna. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you.
I told myself I wasn't going to get emotional, but I just want to say that I'm extremely proud of her, of everything that she has accomplished, and the opportunities that Vista has provided for her is just amazing. We have seen her transform from this little girl, to this strong woman, and we're extremely proud of her.
All right, thank you very much. And next up, we have Mr. Steve Ellis from Murrieta Mesa High School.
gonna say. We rehearsed, hoping it would be a little bit smoother up here. You can already tell why I love these mornings. Anyway, good morning. My name is Steve Ellis, and I'm the principal at Murrieta Mesa High School. And actually, this was going to be the first time in 7 years I was going to go and just talk about our student, since I've known him since before he was our student. Then I realized I have a strict time limit, and I should write it down and stick to that. So here we are. I am very privileged to get to work with incredible students like the young man you're about to meet. I'd like to start by thanking Sally, Jennifer, Llewellyn, and all of the sponsors for making this such a great event in our community. It's my favorite morning every month. This morning, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Murrieta Mesa's Senior of the Month for September, Davin Coe. Yes, Davin is an incredible student with over 4.3 GPA, continuing to take several AP courses this year. He's involved on campus as a member of our Model United Nations Club, NHS, CSF. He's in our band and our marching band. He's a lacrosse player. He's earned a bunch of community service hours, usually by going out of the country on mission trips to Mexico, Thailand, or Myanmar. Used to be Burma. Well, that was our conversation where he said Myanmar, the old Burma, I think is what he said. All of these accomplishments and involvements are great, but they are not why Davin was quickly selected by our staff as our first senior to be recognized this year. Davin is here because Davin is kind. He's beloved by students and staff alike because he genuinely cares about all of us. Davin is here because he's polite to everyone. Davin is here because he has a smile for every single person he sees along with a pleasant greeting. Davin is here because he is humble, and unless you really look into what he has done or accomplished academically, you would never know. Recently, Davin was named to our homecoming court in a rally where he was introduced despite being in all advanced classes and a few programs on campus, which in theory should limit his contacts with people. The entire student body went nuts for him. I imagine that's because any person who's ever come in contact with Davin believes that he sincerely values them. Though Davin will never seek the spotlight or want a fuss made about him, Davin is here today because he deserves the spotlight. It is clear that Davin embodies Mesa pride, purpose, responsibility, integrity, duty, and excellence better than most. Mesa is a better place because of him and the legacy he will be leaving. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Davin Coe.
You guys already know my name, but my name is Davin. Where do I start? I think I'll just start with the life lesson. I think one thing that I've learned, not only these past 4 years, but since I was raised when I was little, is that there's always a way to be kind, and in every situation, no matter how I feel, no matter how bad the circumstance is, there's always a way to approach it and to there's always a way to approach the problem or the situation with kindness and humility. And so that thought process and that lesson has it's redefined the way that I approach my academics and the things I do on campus and meeting new people, because whenever I meet someone or I'm having a bad day and someone asks me for help, I don't shoo them away. Or if someone gets on my nerves in 7:50 in the morning and I have to present something, there's just these annoying people. I'm just kidding. But if that situation ever happens, as I keep training myself to think kindly and humbly, it helps me to it helps me not to have a bad relationship with the other person, and it helps me to just to come out of it stronger and to come out of it with better character. Yeah, that's it. I'd like to introduce my teacher.
Wait.
Oh.
What do you want to go to college? What do you want to study?
I think I'm applying to several colleges, but I'd really like it if I got into UC Berkeley or to UCSD, just because I like the campuses and I want to go in as a psychology major. So, and they both have outstanding programs, and it's something that I'm interested in. Yeah. On my left is my dad. He happens to be a teacher at the high school, long before I was there too. Not that long, but before I was there. Yeah, I love you, Dad. And then on my right is my APUSH and AP seminar teacher, and yeah, she's the best. That's all I have to say. Yeah.
My name is Macaria Gonzalez. I did teach Davin for both AP US History and AP Seminar, which is part of our AP Capstone program. And as an AP teacher, I don't tend to have students come into my class smiling every day. If anything, they're dragging themselves into class or head in a book. But Davin, both my classes, every single day I would see him, had a smile. And we would greet everybody. He would instantly go into the classroom wondering how everybody was doing, helping someone right before class. And at first I'm like, okay, he's just excited. It's the beginning of the school year. He kept it up. You know, February hits, March for APUSH hits, and he's still coming in smiling. And he's just one of those most humble students. He knows how incredibly smart he is. He'll never tell you. He is incredibly humble about it. He'll have the top grade in class. He won't tell anybody about it. He won't say, oh, that's me up there. Completely humble young man, and it's just amazing to see him. I've known him since he was a little kid, but it's just amazing to see him grown into this awesome young man, and I'm just so proud of him. You're awesome, Dad.
And then this is my dad, Mr. Co, or Teddy Co. Yeah. Or dad, yeah. Dad works.
Hi. I feel like I'm not only a parent, but I'm also a teacher. It's like an infomercial, right? I'm gonna get emotional, so I'm not, because I'm like the world's ugliest crier, so it's not gonna be good. Everything that was said is true, and oh gosh, thank you.
All right, thank you. Now it is my privilege to introduce Principal April Jacoby from Springs Charter School.
Morning. I am so glad to be back here. I missed most of this last year, and I grew up here, moved here in '79 before there was traffic signals, before the Sizzler was here. I think my first job was actually the Sizzler that's no longer a Sizzler down in Temecula. So I love this community, and I love what you offer these students, and I think this is such a valuable program, and we really appreciate at Springs that you recognize us and allow us to be part of this great program. We pride ourselves on personalized instruction for over 9,000 kids across Southern California, but we relish all of these opportunities to recognize our real high flyers. And Allison here has really embraced all of the opportunities that we allow through so many different things. I know that you work full-time while still accomplishing your straight A's. She does dual enrollment, so she's getting college credits already. All this time, she's always giving back to the community, serving on student advisory committees. She has really gone all out to make the most of her high school experience, and we are so excited to see where she goes from here. So I present to you Allison Thomas.
Good morning, folks. My name is Allison Thomas. This is my mentor and teacher, Mrs. Courtney Wallace. My dad, Nate Thomas. My mother, Susan. So I am a 17-year-old high schooler at Springs Charter, and as any person has, I have faced obstacles within the few years of my life I have taken on so far. One of the biggest being my anxiety, which has often caused me to fixate on something and be so focused on being perfect that everything seems like the most daunting task, when in reality it is quite minuscule. From this obstacle, however, I've learned my most important life lesson and accomplished something I am most proud of by overcoming it. I learned to dwell on it and meditate on the good opposed to the negative and put my trust in God. Philippians 4:8 states, finally, brethren, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. I believe this is truly important to be reminded of, as there is an overwhelming amount of darkness in the world, but a tremendous amount of light as well, if you are willing to look. An area which I have found this light has been through my internships and volunteer positions with the city of Menifee. I have gained a deep appreciation for my city and those who have lived in it, from senior citizens to the tiny tots in preschool. Though in addition to my volunteer work, my job in customer service has taught me there is something special about being connected to another person. Whether this be through religion, nationality, ethnicity, friendship,
a common theme or interest. I plan to foster this connection with others and continue to give back to my community by writing to promote city events and programs within the current internship I hold. Going forward, I plan on continuing my attendance at MSJC for my prerequisites and then applying at my top college choices, which are Cal Baptist University and Vanguard, where I anticipate majoring in business and minoring in journalism. This recognition is a true honor, and I'm extremely grateful. So I would like to thank my school, which has challenged me to continue growing, my teacher and parents for supporting me no matter what the situation, with my best interest at heart, and the sponsors who this wouldn't be possible without. Thank you.
Isn't she amazing? Good morning, my name is Courtney Wallace, and I've had the honor of serving the Thomas family, specifically Allie Thomas. What a delight and a treat it has been to watch her flourish and grow into this amazing young woman. If she isn't maintaining a rigorous academic schedule with a 4.0 GPA, she's busy excelling in her college classes, maintaining a full-time job, or volunteering in her community as a leader on the Youth Advisory Committee in the city of Menifee. She truly does it all with such grace and dignity. She is such a tremendous asset to our community, and I'm wholeheartedly confident that she's destined for such greatness. You are so incredibly deserving of this honor, Allison. Congratulations. I love you.
Good morning. Both my wife and I couldn't be prouder. This is actually the third time that I've stood here. I do have 3 teens, and I work with the public anytime that I get an opportunity to brag on my kids. They can't shut me up. Although this introduction, that being, it's kind of an introduction for me as well, because she's so busy, we never see her. She kind of runs her own life. Having 3 teens, they're 16, 17, and 19, people say, oh my gosh, that's got to be hard. And it really, really isn't, because all 3 of them, Allison included, of course, make us better. She encourages us to go to church. I grew up as the kid that was, do we have to go to church? And mom drug us. She drags us to church. So her character, her dedication, she doesn't, forgive me, half-ass anything. Everything is 100%. If she's gonna wreck a car, she totals it. So that's kind of a joke, but I drive a different car now. So Allison, continue on the path that you are. Encourage others. I love you. Congratulations.
Allison, I totaled my mom's Corvette when I was 16, 2 weeks after I got my license. It's okay. Okay, I would like to now introduce from Murrieta Valley High School, Mark I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing this wrong, Pattengill and Samantha Miles.
I just want to begin by praising our community. As I get older and more melancholy, sorry, but what a great community we live in. To live and to serve in Murrieta is an amazing thing. I mean, I feel so blessed to experience what we experienced in the last couple of weeks, and to see how the first responders supported us, to see how our community bonded together, and particularly with our school being on the west side of town and the challenges that were there. I just feel so blessed, and I just want to acknowledge our awesome community. So thank you. And with that, we have such great parents, such great kids. I mean, I have people all the time say, "Gosh, Murrieta schools are amazing," but they're amazing because, I mean, I think we do some good things, but they're amazing because of the families and the kids that we are so blessed to see every day. So, and we have one of those right here. Murrieta Valley High School Sizzler Student of the Month for September is Samantha Sam Miles. She's an amazing leader on our campus. She is a great example of a servant leader. She is as great an example of a servant leader as any that I have ever had the pleasure to work with, and I've worked with a lot. She does things the right way with respect, integrity, teamwork, and excellence. She has served as the Chief Financial Officer for our virtual enterprise team that was one of the top teams in California, earning the right to compete in the national competition in New York City. This year, she was a clear, hands-down selection as the CEO, one of our CEOs, and I'm sure they'll go to New York, and I'm excited to join them in that. She's serving as commanding officer for our Marine Junior ROTC program. A week ago, Sam at Patriots Day spoke in front of our entire student body. Our student body was amazing as they sat and listened to Sam, and Sam was amazing as she presented to them on that day. She's been part of our Crimson Cadets band program that earned 4th place in the state in the marching band competition. Her sophomore year, she was selected as outstanding percussionist. This past summer, she was selected to go to the Girls State at Claremont McKenna College. She is part of the Riverside County Community Service Group, Youth Advisory Council, GAC. Sam serves on the Principals Advisory Team, where she provides me with some valuable insight to what's going on at school and a lot of recommendations as far as things that we can do differently. All this, and she maintains above a 4.0 GPA. She is wise beyond her years and brings a poise and charisma to everything that she does. I proudly introduce to you Sam Miles, Murrieta Valley High School's Sizzler Student of the Month.
Hello everyone. I just want to thank the people up here today, my dad for all the support that he's given me through all my endeavors, Major Tordai for being the best role model a student can ask for, and also Dr. Pettingill for recognizing me for this award. When I entered high school, it was very difficult for me to find my place and to surround myself with people who I wanted to identify myself with, and so joining ROTC was the best decision I ever made in my life. And some of my life goals are to not live life with any regrets, and also to take a chance. And so by joining ROTC, I definitely did find all these amazing people to surround myself with. I developed all types of relationships with all types of people, and it also taught me how to become a leader and be able to speak in front of large crowds. Also, one of my main accomplishments that correlate with taking a chance and living life without any regrets is my CFO position in virtual enterprise. Last year as a junior, I decided to join Virtual Enterprise, which is a business program at our school, which is very successful. And I got the opportunity to interview for the job position CFO, and I chose CFO because I like math. And I didn't think I would get it because usually the CFO position is a large learning curve with accounting and everything, and there's also amazing people who I was competing against for the position. However, by taking the chance and by interviewing, I ended up getting the position, which was one of the best experiences in my high school career, because I got to develop relationships with amazing people that I would have never met in virtual enterprise, and also I got to develop really close relationships with my mentors as well, who taught me so much stuff and how to apply everything I learned in the real world. And after high school, I am pursuing the United States Air Force Academy and a career in engineering, but the Air Force Academy is very competitive, so if I do not get in, what's a plan without a backup? I want to go to UCSD and also pursue a career in engineering, but also a minor in business management. Thank you. And up here today is Major Tordai, my junior Marine instructor, or my Marine instructor.
Good morning. Like Dr. Pettingill said, we are all getting older, at least this side of the room here. And when I think back to my high school days, I don't know about you guys, but I don't talk to very many people or anybody from high school. They didn't make a really big impact on me. And when I look at Cadet Miles here, our commanding officer of our ROTC, she's going to be remembered by, I would say, everybody that is in our command right now. And most of them in a good way. She's got to counsel some and set them straight, because that's her job.
When you talk about changing the path of somebody's life, about making sure, recognizing that they're struggling in a math class or a history class or just with life, and recommending that they go to our cadet tutoring or NHS tutoring or go to a counselor, and she personally takes that on and walks them over and helps them out. She's helped them to graduate, to get their mental health where it needs to be. And that's the sort of thing that kids remember, that people remember for their lifetime. And ultimately in our life, it's not about things, it's about how you're remembered. And you will be remembered as not just as the CO on a plaque, but by all of the cadets, and certainly by me. I wish you could just stay forever, but it's okay. We're gonna be all right next year, maybe. But anyhow, thank you so much for everything you've done for us. I appreciate it. Oh, that's it.
And next up is my dad.
First, I want to thank the committee that puts this on for giving me the opportunity to publicly brag about my daughter a little bit. She's a second daughter of three. I have three. Her older sister is a sophomore now at Berkeley, so she has some big shoes to fill. This past summer, we did follow her around the United States. We went to the Air Force Academy summer camp in Colorado Springs. Later, we went to an entrepreneur summer camp in Long Island, New York. So definitely it takes, I think, a strong family behind these students up here. But I also want to recognize the administration and faculty, teachers at Murrieta Valley. The ROTC program, like Samantha said, has been just one of the best things for our family, actually. My younger daughter is now a cadet, and want to thank Major Tordai for being here. The one person in the room who's scarier than me, according to my daughter. So standing next to me. We both look so nice, so I don't, you know, but we could be pretty hard on her at times, but we expect the best from her, and we push her, and sometimes she's got to push back. She's a middle daughter, so the rules were made for her, and she pushes the boundaries, so just want to say how proud we are of her, and yeah, reach for the stars.
And I'd like to welcome back in record time, Mary Walters.
It's our first one out of the chute, so we've set our goals high, right? But let's give our students another round of applause. I mean, weren't they so impressive? I mean, the theme that I saw that ran through them is that they're all kind. They have a servant heart, and they are definitely leaders. So we look forward to hearing what you do through the rest of your senior year and beyond. At this time, I'd like to invite up our dignitaries. I wonder, do we still have Mayor Kelly Ciarto? We have John Hunneman here with Senator Jeff Stone's office, Samantha Stillwell from Assemblywoman Melissa Melendez's office, and Patrick Kelly from the Murrieta Valley Unified School District. While they are coming up, you are going to get this marvelous backpack with all sorts of gift cards and you'll be able to eat at all sorts of places, so that's wonderful. You'll be able to take your family out. But you're also going to get this pile of thank you cards. But we've done some nice work for you. You have labels, so you don't have to actually write the addresses on the envelope. That's all you have to do is write the thank you in the card, put it in the envelope, put the label on there, and then take it back to your principal, and then they will take care of sending it out. So this is very important. All of our sponsors, we love getting these thank you cards back. It keeps us motivated to keep giving. So students, you have a little bit of homework to do. With that, I am going to turn it over to John Hunneman.
Good morning. I'm John Hunneman with State Senator Jeff Stone's office. The senator couldn't be here today. We were both in Sacramento last week. It was an interesting week in Sacramento last week, and most of us are still recovering, and I'm sure he is too. First of all, this is record time. I've been coming to these things since the beginning, since 28 years ago, when there was one high school in Temecula and there was one in Murrieta, and this was basically a half-hour program. We were 45 minutes this morning, so Mick kept up the timeline, which always is helpful. And it begins another year of me standing up here remembering what a slug I was in school. Now, I had a GPA over 4, if you add up my high school and college GPAs. But I get the sense, too, the melancholy, having lived in Murrieta a long time and seen what a great community this is, and having raised 2 boys who both graduated from Murrieta Valley High School, one 23 years ago, who's in his 40s now, and just the accomplishments of this community and these great students. I want to remind you, on your table, we do this every year. This is State Senators Stones. There ought to be a law competition. It's open to all high school students in the 28th district. If you see something there ought to be a law about, and don't overthink it. I mean, we're banning plastic straws and stuff, so it's great. I encourage you to go to the website and take a look at it, and we'd like to get a winner from this side. We represent from here to out to Blythe and Riverside County, and our winners so far have all been from the Coachella Valley. I would like to see someone from Murrieta win this year, so please take a look at that. Congratulations, students and parents, and have a great year.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Samantha. I'm here on behalf of Assemblywoman Melissa Melendez, and it is such an honor to come here every month on behalf of the Assemblywoman. This is probably one of my favorite mornings, is to hear the stories of the students, and I just want to remind the students that I hope that they listen to what was said about them. Truly, you all in this room are so amazing. You've gone above and beyond, and you've reached out to people in your community, at your schools, and you've really touched their heart in one way or another. And so remember that when you go off to college, and continue with that. Keep up with the perseverance and the kind and good hearts that you all have. So congratulations again.
Good morning. Really? We're going to fix that right now. Good morning. Good morning. There we go. My name is Brenda Denstead, and I'm here today on behalf of our Congressman, Ken Calvert, who wants to wish you a sincere congratulations on all of your efforts and your achievements, and wish you the very best of luck in your future endeavors. As a mom, my daughter started her sophomore year, sent her off to college. I am now officially an empty nester for the second year. Parents, not all that it's cracked up to be. Just giving you a heads up. Get ready. The other thing that I am marking in my life, yesterday was an anniversary. My eldest daughter, Leanne, who was 19 years old, was a sophomore at Northern Arizona University, passed away 2 years ago yesterday. Leanne contracted a very rare form of bacterial meningitis while she was attending college. I tell you this so that you become educated for the risks that your children will face once they go to the dorms and they're exposed to those close quarters. And I also tell you this because Leanne to this day is remembered not for her academic achievement. She was an IB graduate with her full IB diploma from Murrieta Valley. She was an athlete, very accomplished cross-country runner. Those are not the things that she's remembered for. She is remembered for the kindness that she showed to others. So as you go forward in your lives, just remember that you have the ability every single day to touch somebody and impact their lives in a positive and good way. And it never costs you a thing to do that. So stay true to yourself, be kind to others, because it will shine back to you. Congratulations. I wish you the very best in your future.
I'm back. We at the Murrieta Waldemar Chamber, we actually want to congratulate you again. We actually went through the one extra step and actually already framed the certificate for you. So all you have to do is find a place to put it. So, I just want to say again, congratulations. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep being the shining lights that you are. Congratulations.
Good morning. I'm Pat Kelly. I'm the superintendent of Murrieta Valley Unified School District. And what a lot of wisdom crammed into very young years of our young people. Am I right? It truly was a lot of wisdom that was spoken this morning. I specifically want to point out our two female COs of our OTC units. That is pretty impressive. These are strong role models who are doing exceptional work. I was at an event this past week where someone who had achieved a very, very high level in their field and their industry really debunked the myth of they pulled themselves up by their bootstraps and they made it happen. This gentleman talked about no fewer than 60 critical people in his upbringing that shaped him and poured into him, and was able to guide with that. And Dr. Pettengill talked a little bit about the value of this community, and I think it's really important that we don't take that for granted. Our families, our schools, our community leaders are so critical. Our faith leaders in pouring into young people. And it's not one person who just pulls it off because they're themselves exceptional. It's a lot of people pouring into and investing into our future of our young people. So congratulations, students. Know that and be grateful for the many who have poured into you over the course of many years. Congratulations.
Well, we are almost at the conclusion of our program. Students, families, dignitaries, business sponsors, school staff, we will meet out front, and you saw that there were 4 chairs sitting out there. We'll be doing a bunch of group photos, and you will get some backpacks and all sorts of gifts on the way out of the door. And before we close the program, though, Sally always likes to close us with a minute with Maxwell. And so today's word is win.
To win, so the word winning is our word today. I'll minute with Maxwell. I think we all like to win. I'm not sure we all like the preparation that it takes to be a winner. John Wooden, my mentor, who was the incredible coach for the UCLA Bruins when they won 10 national championships, Sports Illustrated said he was the greatest coach of the last century. I asked him one day, I said, Coach, what do you miss most about coaching? He said, the practices. Isn't it interesting? I said, not the games? He said, no. He said, our practice determined how we played the game. He said, by the time the game day came, I just sat there on the bench with my rolled-up program in my hand and kind of laid back and let my team play. He said, we prepared for that game. We practiced for that game. He said, I miss the practices. I miss the process of doing what we needed to do so that we could get to where we needed to go. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, what an incredible formula for winning. What an incredible formula for success. Anybody can be good once in a while. You got to really practice if you want to win all the time. John Wooden knew that practice was the key to winning.
Well, keep practicing, keep preparing. Congratulations, students and families. Thank you for joining us today for our first Student of the Month program. Have a great day.